live from the fashion capital of the world, New York, New York. It's Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern.
Welcome to Wearable Electronics with me, Becky Stern, and Phil, Mr. Lady Ada himself.
Yeah, Mr. Adlib today.
We are in the fashion capital of the world. Some might say Paris.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Well, Paris should get a live Wearable Electronics show and start talking then.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
Take that, France. What's on today's show,
Oh,
Phil?
me drinking things out of cups. On today's show, Coated Diffuser, 10% off everything in the floor and wearables category on Adafruit expires 11:59 p.m. tonight. Go get some wearable stuff. Wearable Wednesday.
It's where we show you what's going on this week in the world of wearables, debut new projects, show some videos.
Component of the week.
We share with you a favorite component and show you how to use it.
Material Spotlight.
Cool new materials. What are they good for?
You got questions, Becky has answers.
If you have questions at any point during the show, please load them up in the comments below this YouTube video. Also in the comments on the blog, on our Google Plus page or event, or on Twitter, or by special request, Carrier Owl.
All that and more on Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. Okay, first up, as I mentioned, I'm going to pay some bills real quick. The code is Diffuser.
There's Floras in stock. There's NeoPixels in stock.
It's a good time to get 10% off.
There's a new product we're about to talk about. You can get 10% off anything in the florables and wearable florables. The florables category.
Yeah.
The flora and wearables
that
category.
name was taken. We couldn't do it.
Really? No.
Yeah. Like Lunchables. Just add a bowls to anything and just.
Well, and our kits are kind of like Lunchables.
We should make a little Lunchable thing.
I just don't believe that food should be kits.
No? Kid food. All right.
So first up, there's a little bit of news in the Adafruit store. We made a new pack. It's the Gemma Starter Pack. And it is our first topic of discussion for this lovely Wearable Wednesday. Yeah, so it's like we've had a couple Flora packs, and we'll make more Gemma packs too. This is the first one. Really great for getting started with Gemma. If you don't have any of these things already, it's the Gemma, the alligator clips, the batteries, some NeoPixels, and a cool battery holder with an on-off switch on it. So you can do, right out of the box, you can do our Space Face Constellation makeup tutorial.
Oh, wow. So that's out of the box, you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, because people are asking, I want to do that.
You can do that with this kit. It's just a great thing to get started if you want to augment a plush toy or get started with Gemma.
Okay. Next up, look at this.
Ooh, look at that.
I know this girl.
Really? I've never seen her before in my entire life. We're going to debut this week's project, which is the Chameleon Scarf Redux, Chameleon Scarf 2.0.
Yeah.
It's better, faster, stronger, warmer, more glowy. It's not faster, actually. It takes longer to make.
This is one of my favorite projects because it combines so many different things, and we're about to combine something else. So maybe we should watch the video.
Yeah, let's roll it.
Roll the video.
Make a scarf that changes color to match your outfit using Flora, Adafruit's wearable Arduino-compatible platform. This is version 2. It's got more LEDs and uses flexible diffusers to more evenly light up the even warmer wool scarf. You know, because it's freezing outside. The Flora color sensor picks up the shade of your favorite sweater. You can find the instructions for this project on the Adafruit Learning System. The link is in the description below. There you can also find and download the 3D file for the diffusers. Print them in white Ninja Flex filament while you make the rest of the scarf. Use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine to capture 2 lines of conductive thread or yarn on a regular ribbon. These will be your power and ground buses for the pixel chain. Then, on the other side of the ribbon, starting at the end of the pixel chain, start adding pixels. Test each one as you go, verifying it also animates the next pixel in the chain. The more pixels you add, the more power is used. You may need to reinforce some connections with more conductive thread or ribbon. We made this long scarf on the knitting machine, but you can also recycle an old sweater. The flexible diffusers help spread out the light inside the scarf, and they're flexible enough that you can't even feel them. Version 2 of the Chameleon scarf is a circle, so after turning it right side out, connect up the power and ground buses at the ends of the ribbon, which helps for power distribution. The Flora is hidden by the overlapping ends of the scarf, but it's easily exposed for sensing a new color and changing the battery. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe for more wearables from Adafruit.
Okay, and we are back.
There's your scarf. Keeps your neck warm.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this one, was that you combined 3D printing with flexible material and textiles and a knitting machine and open source hardware.
And conductive thread.
And conductive thread.
And chainable neopixels.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tech going on inside that scarf.
Yeah. Excellent project. And I think you have some more photos that you wanted to talk about with this too, right?
Yeah, before we go to the overhead for the diffusers. Yeah. So notable improvements to this scarf because it has more pixels in the previous version. The previous one, actually didn't count on the new one how many there are, like probably 24 or 30. The older version had conductive thread for the data traces, and this one uses our thin conductive ribbon. For beefier connections, and then the data is on a different side of the non-conductive ribbon than the power and ground buses, so that you get a little bit more space to play with there. And it's a circle scarf, so the power connects back to the beginning, which evenly distributes it around, and then also makes it so that you can just wrap it around your neck twice.
Yeah.
So it's like a better scarf and a better circuit.
Okay.
As usual, the color sensor picks the color, but it on the new version, it's like on top of the flora instead of...
see the color better, easier.
Yeah, it's just like you hold the whole flora to take the color instead of trying to isolate just this tiny little part. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's good. And then Noe and Pedro in Florida made the NeoPixel diffusers with the really cool NinjaFlex 3D filament. And I want to show that on the overhead.
Okay, let's go to the overhead.
So here I brought the space face circuit over here so we could use it as an example. And then I thought we'll see how this overhead light goes, and then I could switch it.
Oh, that's right.
So they're these, we have on autofocus, right? Yeah.
Get it off.
They're flexible, it's like super flexible, so soft. And then when you put them over, I'm gonna switch the light. When you put them over the NeoPixels, you get really nice color diffusion.
Oh yeah.
I think I can turn the light off entirely and we'd do a little bit better, yeah. Cool, huh? Ooh.
That's good stuff.
And so while we put these on the inside of the scarf to sort of like help distance the textile knitting away from the surface of the LED, they also would look great by themselves sewn onto like the outside of a jacket. I'm sure we'll use them for oodles of things, and then make ones in different shapes too. Yeah. It's a really fun experiment. So that file is available on Thingiverse if you want to download it and remix it. Yeah. Make your own different diffusers. But
yeah, this is a big deal. The 3D printed flexible material. I mean, if you saw this in person, because things always look a little bit different on camera, they look like little tiny ping pong balls cut in half, but they're flexible.
Really flexible.
Great for wearables.
I believe you can see how much I am flexing it.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, because we've done, we had an earlier version of this project. Why in the world would you ever do a project more than once? And I mean, one thing I know for sure is every project is perfect the first time you try it. You never have to do anything again or different, right? Wait, what? Electronics and crafting isn't like that?
Always works the first time ever. Yeah. Whenever I make anything, I'm always the best at it the very first time I try.
It's like, oh, that was easy. Maybe try something more complicated next time. No, it's actually really hard to do what we do here.
And the first time I made the scarf, the first Chameleon scarf is over here. This is the second one that I made, and the first time was a total disaster. And this is the second one I made. And then the first time I made version 2, it's kind of a total disaster. And
you can flip it the other way. You could say, you learned so much. You learned so much from this.
I don't know.
It built a foundation.
Yeah, you know what I learned when making this scarf the first time, and maybe the second time too? Yeah, when you need to share something with the world, you want to make it absolutely perfect. So you labor over that, and I also want to document it perfectly and capture all of the right shots I need to share it with you guys for very clear instructions. But if you're working on something when you're tired or frustrated and it's not because you're not like enjoying yourself the whole way through, you will make bad decisions, and you'll in the crafting world overdo it.
Same thing goes for when you go to the grocery store. Don't
go hungry, go hungry to live it. Well, when I find that if I go to the grocery store not hungry, I don't get enough stuff. Okay. So if I go hungry, then I'll get too much stuff, but then I don't have to go grocery shopping for a while. But you're right, you'll make bad decisions. You'll get cookies instead of things. So I don't know, like sewing with conductive thread and making long chains of textile pixel chains is not that easy. It's an intermediate level to advanced level flora project for sure. And Yeah, it's cumulative. You spend a long time sewing, and if you add too much conductive thread, you can end up shorting stuff out. If you try to reinforce connections and you get frustrated, you might add too much glue to your knots.
Okay.
There's like all kinds of things that can go wrong in the project, and you need to really take your time and be careful the whole way through. That said, like, it just also takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, and there's only one way to get experience is practice, so you have to go in knowing that you might have to do stuff over. I can tell you with the almost 500 tutorials that are on the Learn system and all the things that Lady Ada does, I see the behind the scenes, which is there's so many, and I don't mean this in a bad way, there's so many failures to get to a tutorial that the world can use, because people with zero or no skill are purchasing something and they just expect it to work like out of the box.
Yeah, well, guess what? This ain't Best Buy.
Yeah, well, the stuff that I just bought something from Best Buy. It didn't work.
Yeah, but it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. And so the tutorials that you see, it's like an oil painting of layers and layers and layers and layers of learning that you get on top of the electronics we sell.
Yeah. So I would say that, you know, when I was working on the second version, and it has a lot more LEDs, and I did make that pair of pixel suspenders for John Janier that's even more LEDs than these pixel suspenders. Yeah. And so, like, I can't say that I was you know, doing anything different than I normally do when I make a long pixel chain with conductive thread. It's possible, and we've shown you how to do it many times before. But like, sometimes the stars just don't align, and you like. Sometimes need to put a project down and work on something else and come back to it when you're feeling good about it. And that there's not always time for that when you have deadlines. When you make wearable electronics projects for work.
When your job is Wearable Wednesday.
And I'm sitting here at the table.
You gotta roll in with something on Wednesday. Sorry.
John Janier wasn't here, and I was I was in a frustrated spot, and I'm sitting there, and I go, man, I wish that I had an expert in wearable electronics here to help me. Oh, that's me. Yeah. It's lonely.
Well, we're growing the next generation of
yes.
electronic people. So we have another video.
Oh yeah, so 3D Thursdays are becoming are more often wearable now that we have this flexible material and that I've been working with Pedro and Noe. So the 3D Thursday project from last Thursday is this running band. It's a motion activated. It's kind of like the sparkle skirt on your wrist. So for exercising and jogging, it'll keep you visible, and it would also, I think, be very good for the dance parties. Okay. Or the concerts. You see people at concerts with all kinds of motion activated things on their hands. Yeah. But I don't want to spoil it for you.
But this doesn't light up or anything. Maybe if there was a video to illustrate this. Oh, we gotta do that. Okay. Video time.
Keep that New Year's resolution of getting fit by staying safe with a NeoPixel illuminated motion activated running band powered by Flora, Adafruit's wearable electronics platform. You can get all the tools and parts for this project at adafruit.com. Our armband design uses a material that's both strong and flexible. Ninja Flex filament is great for wearables and works with most 3D printers. You can grab our design on Thingiverse. The NeoPixel ring and accelerometer lay on the back of the Flora. Align the Flora inside the body and use a fine-tipped marking pencil to mark the pinouts. And position the accelerometer in the center of the NeoPixel ring. Use a needle to puncture the markings and stretch out the holes. Then thread strips of 30-gauge wrapping wire through the holes. Lengthy wires secure Flora and the accelerometer in place while soldering. Pull the wires through to the edge of the pad and bend over the end to secure the connection while soldering. A complete circuit diagram and tutorial for this project can be found on the Adafruit Learning System. To make the circuit more compact, we'll solder on an extra JST connector to the onboard one. A slide switch makes it easy to power the circuit on and off. The wires controlling the circuit's power live on the front side of the Flora, which will face down towards your wrist. Position the NeoPixel ring over the wires of the accelerometer and thread the appropriate wires to the pins. Double check the circuit diagram if you're not sure. Bend down the wires to secure the NeoPixel ring, cut the wires short, and strip and solder them. Remove any excess wire from the NeoPixel ring, then thread on the accelerometer and bend back the wires to hold the circuit in the center of the ring. Strip, solder, and remove the excess wire from the accelerometer. Carefully reduce the length of the battery cable and heat shrink those connections. Pop the slide switch through the cavity for a tight fit, and carefully position the battery on top of the circuit. Align the 3D printed back cover to the cutout of the slide switch, and press down on the edges of the cover to protect the circuit. You can still plug in a USB cable to easily reprogram the Flora, and the pins on the 3D printed band snap in to securely hold the circuit to your wrist. Slide the switch to power it on and keep your New Year's resolution while staying safe and glowy. What activity will you light up this year? Let us know by joining our weekly show and tell. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
And we're back.
I have this with me. I can show it on the overhead.
Yeah. Let's go to the overhead. Okay, I have autofocus on, so let me know if you want me to turn that off there, Bex.
Oh yeah, we talked about whether or not I was going to be wiggling things back and forth on the overhead. Well, I was like,
that's the answer.
When do I ever do that, Phil?
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's motion activated. You could upgrade it with a GPS if you wanted to add more features. I know Tyler Cooper.
Turn off the light. And say
oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, now it's not moving, so we can't.
I know I have to move it and one instruction at a time.
Go left, go right.
So you could upgrade it with a GPS. The accelerometer doesn't have to be facing out or anything. It could be on the inside. It's not they're not affected by each other, the GPS and the compass. You see we use that in the Neo Geo watch. So this is cool. It's good for dance parties and exercise buffs. And it has the band is made out of the Ninja Flex 3D filament.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff with this. It's a big deal.
Speaking of which, maybe we should do that segment first, the materials.
Oh, you want to go to Material Spotlight?
Can you handle that shake-up in plans?
Yep. I'm all about it. Material Spotlight.
So speaking of the Ninja Flex flexible material, it is our Material Spotlight for the week.
Okay.
We don't carry this product yet, but it's made by Fenner Drives, and it's the only thing like it we've seen so far, a super flexible 3D printing filament that works in the Rep 2 and I think the Rep 1.
Oh yeah?
If it has a heated build platform. You actually don't need the heated build platform if the temperature's up high enough on your extruder. But there it is in 3 different colors of the Ninja Flex and 3 different colors for our NeoPixel diffuser. And then this watch band too, it's so flexible that it feels just like one of those silicone watch bands that you would get with our Times Square watch or at the mall or whatever. Yeah. And we think there's a lot of potential here for wearables things. I was thinking these diffusers could be cool, like in the shape of like a spike, and then you could make like spiked jacket or like a light up dinosaur costume. And the white color diffuses the LEDs really well. I think the other we don't have the other colors in the office, but I imagine it would too. It would just color them.
Yeah,
blue, red, or black.
I think one thing that might happen is a company like a MakerBot or a 3D Systems who makes the Cube, they may optimize a printer just for printing out things for wearable electronics.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It'll be a little bit wearable electronics computer.
Would it be pink and have Barbie on it?
No, it'll be black and cold like us.
I meant that as a cynical. I meant that as a cynical comment on how things are like this. This is for girls and like 3D printing for girls.
Okay,
which I don't appreciate.
So let's go back to where we normally
component of the week.
Component of the week.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for accommodating my change in schedule.
That's right. Component of the week.
Component of the week this week is the NeoPixel ring. We have 3 flavors: small, medium, and large, or Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear, or Goldilocks.
Someone's been absorbing my photons. Someone's been absorbing my photons. Okay. All right, so we have
So the NeoPixel rings were they're a huge hit. I think everybody agrees they're kind of like the cat's pajamas. This one's 16 NeoPixels already all wired together, so you just need to put in data, power, and ground, and then you can make a watch, make a wristband, make a pair of earrings. And here are some of the projects that you can learn how to build in the Adafruit learning system. This is a audio reactive microphone flag with a NeoPixel ring inside that goes around the microphone. This is a bangle bracelet made from 4 NeoPixel rings. Now that we have the small guy, you could even make one out of 5 of the small guys. This is the Neo Geo watch made with also the Flora GPS and compass. It tells time with like metric 16, 8-bit time. Yeah. This is the pendant or earring design with Gemma in the middle of the 16 ring, and our Iron Man arc reactor project from Halloween. So you can be Tony Stark with it, just a Gemma and a NeoPixel ring, and then of course our ever popular kaleidoscope eyes LED goggles.
You said these are the cat pajamas. I think they're the cat's armor, which is a post today on Wearable Wednesday, cat armor that you can get at Etsy. Beautifully leather crafted.
Excellent segue, or excellent connection. Yeah, so every Wednesday on the blog is a whole slew of posts about the latest wearables projects from around the web, and there was some cool cat armor today. You should check it out. The link is in the show notes.
Yeah. Okay. Question and answers.
So with the question, wait, I have a question. Are the NeoPixel rings 10% off?
Yeah, they are.
So how could you get 10% off?
Well, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked. It's the code is diffuser, and that's 10% off everything in the Flora category, wearable category, and NeoPixels.
I think I probably cross-listed these in the wearables category, actually. If I didn't, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, they're 10% off. I knew this was going to come up.
Do you know what else about NeoPixel rings? You can get them at SparkFun also.
That's right. We had SparkFun on Ask an Engineer on Saturday night, and we debuted not the Adafruit new products, which we normally do. We debuted new products from another company that no one ever does. It's crazy. And they now carry them at SparkFun. So if you want to get NeoPixels.
I don't know that they're 10% off at SparkFun, but you can get them there.
Yeah, they do sale sometime.
Yeah.
But they're 10% off right now here today.
With code diffuser.
For a fact.
Through the end of today.
So it's question and answer time. You got questions? Becky has answers.
So remember, we do a giveaway with these questions, and they get loaded up in advance. So if you have a question, put it in the comments or on Google Plus or Twitter or Facebook or wherever I'll see it, and I'll take a screenshot and save it for a future show. And if I pick your question, you'll be entered in the giveaway. And the giveaway today is a 16 NeoPixel ring.
Yep.
So ask questions. It pays to ask questions. I only answer a few on each show, so your chances of winning are really good if you ask thoughtful, insightful questions about wearable electronics.
The first question is...
Oh, here, I can read this.
You want to do this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy wants to, he wrote me a long comment.
Okay.
He wants to make drool-proof blinkies for his baby.
Okay.
And he wants to ask if there's a way to drool-proof his own DIY electronics projects, or should I stay away from mixing small drooling babies and electronics? And then a bonus question, is there a way I can mask the infrared LEDs on my baby monitor camera some way that the light is still usable but the little one doesn't get distracted by cool LEDs when he should be trying to sleep? I would say yes, keep your DIY electronics projects away from your baby. Like products that are meant to go in children's mouths undergo crazy amounts of testing before they're legally allowed to sell them to you. So I mean, obviously you're not going to sue yourself if you poison your baby, but I don't think you really want to poison your baby.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't.
It's just bad. I mean, like us as a company have to say, like, don't put anything in your kids ever.
But I mean,
don't even look at things.
Like at liability, we would say that anyway. But I'm telling you, like, if I had a baby, would I put our NeoPixel strip in its mouth? No.
Yeah.
And like, what if you're like, there's testing not only for chemical safety but also for durability and like chew-proofness. You know, like I don't leave my dog alone with toys that could come apart. Why would I leave Why would I leave? And I don't put my leave my pet unattended with wearable electronics on it. Why would I do the same?
Don't do this one at home.
Yeah. So no, sorry. And then your bonus question: infrared LEDs, I don't think is what your baby is seeing because human eyes can't see infrared light on your baby monitor. So if there's a red LED on your baby monitor, cover it up with a piece of electrical tape.
Okay.
That's what I do for LEDs in my bedroom when I'm trying to sleep.
Next up, hello Becky. I'm using a LiPo battery with a Flora. Is there a way to reinforce a JST connector on the battery for removal?
I have. I've never had one of my batteries have its JST connector fall off from yanking it out by the wires. I would, if you have fingernails, that's the best reinforcement I can tell you, to use your fingernails on the plastic bit of the JST connector on the battery, not yank on the wires, but I do inadvisably pull on the wires all the time, and I've never had a battery fail there. I usually have the wires fail at the other end, where the wires connect to the battery.
And you've done this a lot.
Yeah, I unplug and replug JST things all the time, but if it's really, really snug on your Flora or your Gemma, you can like wiggle it back and forth, or even like when it's off, put some kind of tool in there to kind of make your JST port a little bit looser so that you don't have to pull quite so hard. Okay. I noticed that on some of our projects that have been replugged many times, it's a little bit easier to remove the battery.
Okay, next up. I want to be able to throw my electronics items in the wash, so I focus on attaching things with Velcro, but I'm a bit hung up on the best way to attach the EL wire to the hook side of the thin Velcro strip. So far I'm sewing, and it seems to work out best, but I'm hoping there's an adhesive solution. Wouldn't it be great if there was an EL wire with Velcro type hooks built into the outer sheathing, so you could just sew it on a few Velcro patches and the EL wire would cling to them?
So for most of your wearable electronics projects, it's okay to hand wash your things and even machine wash select things if they don't have parts that would break with repeated flexing, such as EL wire. I wouldn't put EL wire in a washing machine because it would bend and potentially break. But just getting it wet and drying it again is not going to be a problem because it's got that plastic sheathing on it anyway. That said, if you do want to be able to throw your hoodie in the washing machine without EL wire on it, you should get some of our welted EL wire and just stick your adhesive-backed Velcro onto the welted part. It's like a little plastic flange on the side of the EL wire, and then stick it right inside your hoodie. It was our component of the week last week on the show.
Sounds about right.
It's also good for stapling onto couches and upholstery, etc.
Yeah. After you do the shows, that's my backup brain because it's like I have to watch it to remember. Like, what were we talking about then?
What were we talking about then? Well, I'm a very visual person, so when I load the images in, I can remember because I remember what the picture looked like.
All right, next up. Just got my first Gemma plus NeoPixel project running. I'm loving it, but I have a couple questions. What would you suggest for debugging Gemma projects since there's no serial capability? And 2, I thought about building some kind of interface and processing. What's the best way to connect a processing sketch to Gemma? Would I need to wire some type of interface to Gemma's open pins? Or is there a way to use USB connection? Thanks, Bill.
Hey, Bill. This is a best tool for the job question. I like these kinds of questions because you should always use the best tool for the job. If you want to have serial communication, use Flora. If you want to use a processing sketch with your wearables project, use Flora. So even I prototype my Gemma projects on Flora so that I can do serial debugging if I need to do serial debugging at all. Simple projects like just a chain of pixels like this doesn't very often need debugging, but if you're using an analog sensor and you want to see like what the readings of your velostat is, I run the same code on the Flora and then comment out the serial calls and port it to Gemma. The truth of the matter is Gemma is a small, very inexpensive platform meant to be put in your things and left alone. If you want something for lots of development that needs to communicate with a computer, you really need a beefier platform. So right tool for your job is Flora. And I like having both because you can reuse your Flora board and test out all these different codes and then load them onto your Gemma.
That's a good idea because if you look at like how people do development work before they go to manufacturing, they might get something like an Arduino or like a big dev board from like a chip company and has every little bell and whistle, but when they go to manufacturing, it's just the bare minimum of things. That's kind of what we did with Gemma. It's good to prototype you can even prototype on a regular Arduino, but you know, whatever. Yeah. And then prototype on a Flora, and then you're just like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then move the things that can be moved to
just comment out the serial commands, and then it's usually good to go unless your program is too large. I just had an idea for a Flora plus Gemma pack.
Okay. It's time to give something away.
Oh, okay. I like doing that. Free stuff for you guys. Today's prize is a 16 NeoPixel ring. And the 4 of you who asked lovely questions today are entered into
25% chance of winning.
Yeah, I know. So you should ask more questions. The winner is Kathy, who wants to throw her EL wire hoodie in the wash. Kathy,
great.
You got a NeoPixel ring. Guess what? You could put this in the washing machine.
We're going to do a video that's all about washing wearable electronics.
It's actually supposed to be next week's video.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm fingers crossed it's next week's video about washing wearables. Because then anytime you guys ask that question, I can just be like, play the video of me saying something next to the washing machine.
And it'll even be better the second time you watch it.
It's got to be like, I think I'm going to capture like a shot that's almost like a Rickrollable part where you can link to just that part of the YouTube video where I'm like next to the washing machine and saying something like, of course you can put it in the washing machine.
Oh, here, you have to do this. Okay, now we're going to do live brainstorming. So take the GoPro and put it in the wash or put it in something that's clear. So we do footage inside of a washing machine.
We do have the waterproof case for the GoPro. Is it okay if I put it in the washing machine?
Yes, it is.
Even if it breaks?
No, don't break it.
How can I tell if it's... You know that my washing machines in the basement of my apartment building are like commercial washers, and once you turn it on, it locks the door, and it doesn't let you open it again until the cycle's over.
Maybe we'll find another washing machine.
You have a different washing machine.
Maybe I'll do that part of the footage.
Hey, Phil, will you capture a B-roll shot for me of the camera inside the washing machine?
I'll do that. Now it's on YouTube, so it's forever. I'm going to have to watch this on my Nest that they just bought or something like that.
I think that the other segment on the show should just be our weekly meeting that happens later. We should just have it on,
behind the scenes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So congratulations, Kathy. You guys are all eligible. That's our show this week.
It's Wearable Electronics, Becky's turn.
Tune in next week for more Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern and Mr. Lady Ada. And We hope you have. I wanted to tell you that tomorrow's 3D Thursday video is also wearable and is, if you watched very carefully at the end of the scarf video, there's a tiny little preview of it.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow's 3D Thursday video is very exciting.
Yeah, we'll have a new segment instead of Where's Waldo, Where's Wearable. I'm really on today. That was good. Okay. All right.
Funny. He's a funny guy.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.